California has a goal to become carbon neutral by 2045. Putting wind turbines off the coast are part of the plan to get us there. But are we ready? Meteorologist Carly Gomez traveled to Humboldt Bay and has been speaking with legislators, marine experts, fishermen, and residents about how wind turbines may or may not be the solution for California.
Eureka, California. Founded in 1856, it still gives us a glimpse into the Victorian era, a bustling city full of resources.
But as the city of Eureka knows, boom can turn to bust quickly.
I'm fifth generation. My family's been here since 1872.
Eureka was founded as a supply post to starry-eyed gold miners looking to strike it rich. But as gold became harder to find, people turned to a new type of gold, in redwood trees. After overlogging, mills shut down. The fishing industry came to the forefront, and now some have their eyes set on Eureka again, this time for its wind.
The strength of those winds, frankly, can be tapped into in a way that I think will be really beneficial.
Elizabeth Klein, the director of the Federal Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, says this area is prime for wind turbines and creating energy offshore. Right now, 5 lease sites have been sold off California's coast, with the project in Humboldt expected to be the first.
This is 20 miles from the shore to here. It's about 10 miles across and about 20 miles from top to bottom. And there's also the port of Humboldt Bay, which has all of the right parameters to construct wind turbines.
Rob Homeland with the Humboldt Bay Harbor District says this new industry being headed in Eureka would take manufactured wind turbine parts from San Diego, Long Beach, and Morro Bay to be assembled in Humboldt Bay at the old timber sites.
That's the floating foundation that the turbine sits on top of. Assembling those, launching them into the water.
As the wind economy enters the area, Leroy Zerlang, the owner of Z&Z Marine Services and the chairman of the Humboldt Harbor Safety Committee, says the fishing community will be contending for valuable land and port space.
We're on a rapid decline in the fishing industry that I didn't think I would ever see.
Now, that fishing land will be used to build wind farms off Humboldt's coast.
You've got a turbine out in the ocean that is generating power. It is connected to what is called an array cable that will generally link a string of turbines. They go to an offshore substation where the power is processed, sent through 2 export cables to the shore where it's connected to the grid, and then you plug it in your toaster and you're good to go.
Andrew Doba, communications director with Vineyard Offshore, adds that these aren't your typical wind turbines.
The blades are roughly as long as a football field, so I mean they're sizable.
Here at Humboldt Bay, the U.S.'s first floating offshore wind turbines are expected to bring more energy to the grid. But before that can happen, a massive renovation and expansion project must be completed first.
An offshore wind strategy report estimates port improvements across the state will cost $12 billion. Commercial fisherman Tom Fulkerson has concerns.
There could be some problems getting in and out of the harbor. From what we understand, these things are huge, and they need slack water and they need flat water, and that's all the kind of weather we try to get out on it.
Fulkerson says the amount of time they could take tugging these turbines could mean loss of work. And it's more than that. Promises of new jobs doesn't necessarily mean fishermen meet qualifications.
Licensing takes time and takes skills. And in order to get a towboat license to actually tow with a tugboat, I mean, you're looking at 7 years of experience to get it today.
Offshore wind projects are already underway along the East Coast and other parts of the world. What makes California's projects different? They will be floating.
In Europe, there are a few underway. Our parent company is involved in the construction of one off the coast of Scotland.
Right now, there are only 4 other floating wind farms around the globe. 62 turbines have already been planned by Vineyard Offshore on the East Coast. An actual number of wind turbines for California has not been provided.
Our flagship project is currently under construction. That's known as the Vineyard Wind Project, Vineyard Wind 1. That is going to be an 800 megawatt project off the coast of Massachusetts, enough power to supply 400,000 homes.
In 2021, the California legislature passed AB 525, requiring a strategic plan for offshore wind energy off California's coastline to help California meet their renewable energy goal, generating 2 to 5 gigawatts of power by 2030 and 25 gigawatts by 2045.
We're at about 61% now. We need to get to 100. That remaining 39% of that, maybe up to 10% could be delivered by offshore wind generation.
Jana Gagnon, a senior advisor to the governor's office for offshore wind energy, says this type of energy is already being used in other countries. So why not California?
We need solutions to transfer away from fossil energy as fast and as manageably as possible.
But fishermen we spoke to say there needs to be a way to find a solution for everyone.
We're not here to stop wind power projects. You know, fishermen are not opposed to renewable energy at all, but we are opposed to losing 4,000 miles of fishing grounds north of San Francisco. That's what we're looking at over the next 30 years.
Ken Bates, president of the California Fishermen's Resiliency Association, helped author a minimization and mitigation plan regarding offshore development.
The fishing grounds offshore here are super productive. They've always been that way.
The plan lists potential financial impacts, noting things like the loss of gear to transmission lines, lost income to fewer fishing days, the effects on tribal fishing grounds, congestion in and out of the port, and impacts on marine life.
We're going to lose huge areas of trawl grounds, of bottom fish grounds. So all the whitefish, you know, fillets, black cod, things like that people normally would buy at the market, that's going to come from somewhere else.
Mike Conroy with West Coast Fisheries Consultants agrees.
Yeah, we need to be mindful of the choices that we as consumers make, and not only what tastes good, but what's healthy. And if you're concerned about having a favorable limit on the climate, then yeah, choose locally harvested seafood for sure.
Conroy has been hired by the state to help represent the fisheries and consult on issues the fishing industry is facing.
We don't know what the cumulative impacts on not only fisheries, because that's one aspect of it, but the shoreside dependent users of that, the fishing communities, the marine ecosystem itself. All of these things are so interrelated.
Joseph Street with the California Coastal Commission says sonar is being used to do research and survey sites, but it comes at a cost.
There's concern that the sound that's used in the surveys could harm marine life, whether it's whales and seals or fish. And a lot of it depends on the details. It depends on how loud the sound is. It depends on the frequency of the sound that's used.
Fishermen say the lucrative crab industry is also at risk.
They're sensitive to pretty much everything. If they come up against a transmission line that's underground, I don't know what that's going to do to the migration of the crabs.
But Benjamin Rutenberg at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo says some studies have been done showing limited effects on marine life.
I do not know of any studies that have found major impacts on marine mammals like whales. There's been some studies done on birds that generally seem like the birds will avoid a lot of these areas.
Although there's very little information on floating wind turbines.
It could be devastating to their lives, their boats, and their gear, and their livelihood. That's an issue. That's an issue that I have with it.
Proponents for offshore wind say they want both sides to work together.
We want to hear from fishing communities and from tribes about why these areas are important and how we can really minimize the impacts of this type of development.
Tribal members with the Weaw tribe in Humbolt didn't return our request for an interview, but earlier this year the Eureka tribe and Bear River formally opposed offshore wind. When it comes to transmitting energy onshore through floating substations, many are asking, is the grid even ready?
You can think of the transmission lines that are running to the Humboldt coast right now as little capillaries. We need arteries. We have to build new grids to interconnect where the wind blows the best.
Right now, there's no clear plan for which power plants will be used or what needs to be built to transmit power to the grid.
If we're going to do this, let's do it right. Let's be thoughtful about it.
And for those who call Eureka home, another turning of the tide may mean a new way of life.
Everybody's worried about that's gone through the cable. What's it going to do to the whales? What's it going to do to the birds? But again, on the other side, us as people, humans, have made a mess out of this earth, and we got to do something to save it.
I just have to give some recognition to our meteorologists. Here at ABC 10, you guys really go above and beyond to talk to our communities, to talk about our environment, to bring us stories just like this. Amazing work, Carly. Thank you so much. And I know it's hard getting into some of those communities and covering this. So I applaud your work. But I do want to ask you, in covering this, you know, as more people are coming to Eureka for this offshore wind project, are people concerned about where everyone is going to live?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a topic among residents here for some time now. And the governor's office for offshore wind says they're also working with Humboldt County to find solutions to build new homes in the community. And the concern people have is that affordable housing is already hard to come by, and they're worried the cost of homes will only continue to rise, leading rent to also rise. Now, more people pushed out of affordable rent could also mean more people left on the streets.
But with more, you know, people coming, more homes being built, things will surely prosper. I mean, businesses will pick up, right?
Yeah. I mean, true. It's like anything else, right? More people out there, more mouths to feed, more businesses, more restaurants getting kind of more people and more influx of people. And that's good news. There's more construction projects. And with offshore wind energy projects, there's potential for work on new home builds, construction, real estate, and of course, restaurants and kind of the busier streets.
Yes. All right, Carly, thank you so much for all your hard work.